And there's a difference between wow and oh, the UK is boiling me. The reason why I put this book down was kind of petty. Reading the next book, like you always need to be reading, when really like you need to give yourself time. Hey guys, my name is Steve, this is Heroine's Corner, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be talking about other books I'm currently in the middle of, and there's a lot of them. So in general, I'm in the middle of like a lot of books, but I really want to focus on the books that I have started since the end of my exams, which has been maybe like 2 months now. So yeah, I've started a lot of books, I've finished a lot of books, I've also not finished a lot of books. So this video is just going to be going down the list. Like I have a list here in front of me. If I have to guess, maybe there's 15 books here, and I'm just going to like say a comment or two about like why I stopped reading them, if I'm enjoying them, if I'm going to be finishing them soon. For some of these books I'm like right at the beginning, and then for others I'm kind of towards the end or the middle. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that because I feel like this is slightly overwhelming, and to be honest I want to try and like finish some of these books soon-ish or within the next like 2 months, like because I don't want to force myself to like pick up books that I put down for a particular reason, but I do want to finish these books because I have a lot of other books that I kind of need to get to as well. So please remember, of course, to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And please comment down below what book you're currently in the middle of, what book you've like put down, DNF. For some, I don't think for books I'm talking about now it's like a DNF situation, but I guess you can call this like a DNF list. I don't know. But yeah, let's get straight into the books. So the first book I want to talk about today is Simon Mears' The Con, which is crime fiction, thriller, and yeah, this is a book that I've started kind of recently. I'm on the 100-page mark. I just dog-eared it. Sorry if you don't like dog-earing your pages, but I just dog-ear my books. But yeah, I started reading this maybe like last month, and I've just kind of been picking it up whenever I felt like it. And if you don't know, the Con is about a British Pakistani kind of mob gang in, I think it's like I think it's in the north of the UK, England, and the head of the gang like is killed, and then the daughter kind of becomes like the leader of the gang, and she needs to work out what's going on. There's a lot of head hopping, so we're just like moving from like character to character to character, which I usually wouldn't enjoy, but because the situation, the circumstance of this gang, of the daughter and of the father is like so interesting and like layered, I'm kind of fine with just like head hopping and seeing like all the different perspectives. I'm like with a daughter character, I think her name's Gia. She's very headstrong, very like stubborn, very focused, and I really enjoy that. I shouldn't really say gang, it's more of a what you call like a crime syndicate. Like this is very sophisticated, very much hands in all the different pies and stuff, and like the father has a lot of control over a lot of people in the community, so it's very sophisticated, and I'm very intrigued to see how Gia kind of comes into the mode and what she wants to do with this large crime syndicate that she is morally opposed to. So the next book I want to talk about, I don't have like too much to say, which is The Appointment by Katharina Volkmer. This book came out pretty recently. It came out 2020, sorry, and I feel like it was shortlisted for something or longlisted for something, but for the life of me I can't remember. Essentially we're like listening, like it was audiobooks for me, so we're listening to this person go to various therapist appointments, and she's basically just speaking what's on her mind and stuff. A lot of people were talking about it like last year. I'm not sure why. That's why I think it was on like a short list or a long list or something, but it was being talked about, and it was being talked about positively. And I do sometimes like that stream of like consciousness books and stuff like that, but at the moment I just don't know what's going on in the book. I don't really, I'm trying to get the gist. I'm trying to get the gist, and I wasn't getting the gist, so I'll put it down, and I'm going to pick it up. I don't know if it's going to be soon, but I think it's just going to be if I want a quick read, because it seems like it's going to be like a fairly quick read for me to get through. So the next book I'm in the middle of is Consumed by Asia Barber, and this is a book basically about consumption, about the environment, about colonialism, about climate change, like all of those kind of green issues. Like she's basically talking about them, and the reason why I put this book down was kind of petty, but essentially, like quite early on in the book, she was talking about how she got a job or an internship or something at a fashion, a small business to do with fashion. Like it's been a while since I read this book, and I was in the middle of like applying for stuff, or I was going to start applying for jobs and stuff after my exams, and I think I just didn't want to read about people like getting into very exclusive industries and sectors and stuff like that. Like it's so petty. Like I still, my answer doesn't even make sense to me. But essentially, like sometimes you don't need to hear about other people's success, even though the book's like absolutely not about that. Just in the moment, I was like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? It made me feel like, I don't even know. It was so stupid, like that reason, and I want to go back to read it. Because it's obviously a very important book and very like timely. But I don't know. I just put the book down like after I read that part because it's like, I don't know. It's weird. We're human. Things don't make sense. So the next book I'm currently in the middle of, and this is like I'm really at the beginning of this book, is the love songs of W.E.B. Du Bois and by Honoré Jeffers, and this is a historical fiction intergenerational book. We're following like one family just through like the ages, like through generations, and I've been meaning to read this book because it's historical fiction. I love historical fiction, and it's very chunky, so it's like a challenge for me. It's like a very long book, and I have been meaning to get like a physical copy, but I was like, let me see if I could do the audiobook. I was warned against reading the audiobook because it is just so big and there's a lot of different names that you have to remember, so it's not very easy to just like listen to. But I was like, let me just try, and yeah. Yeah, like I don't think you can like audiobook this book, or I can't audiobook this book because it is just very interwoven, a lot of people's names, and I like actually listening to audiobooks at a top speed, but the narrator just got so high pitched it was kind of unbearable, like because like they were voicing a child, so that times like two was not it for me. So I do really need to like go back to the beginning of this book when I have the physical copy and just read it as a physical book. I don't know when that's going to be because I'm not really buying books at the moment, but yeah, that is a book that I really want to get back to because I was enjoying it. It was a really fantastic read before I had to put it down. Another book that I'm in the middle of is You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty by Akwaeke Emezi. Can you tell like I'm so tired? The heat is sucking all the energy and life from me today. But yeah, so I am very much look, I'm on page 30, like I've been meaning to read this book for forever, and then now that I have it, I'm only on page 30. If you don't know, this is a romance novel, Akwaeke Emezi's first romance novel. I just haven't been in the mood, essentially. Like a lot of these books, I just haven't been in the mood to. Oh, sorry if the angle's different. Like my tripod thing, like legit just like tipped over, so I don't know if it's in the right position or not. But yeah, essentially, I just haven't been in the mood to read this book or a lot of books recently. I'm not in a reading slump. It's more so I'm just busy. I'm very busy. So when I have my off time, I'm not picking up a book. I'm really just like sleeping or watching Love Island. From what I've read so far, it's good, but this book just isn't one of my main priorities at the moment. Another book that I'm in the middle of is What Asexuality Reveals About Desire, Society, and the Meaning of Sex by Angela Chen, and I started reading this book as an ebook. Like as you can tell from the title, it's talking about asexuality and just like exploring asexuality. And yeah, I started reading this book. I put it down because I really just want a physical copy, and again, like I just haven't been buying books, so it's hard for me to like finish the book if I want to finish it as a physical copy, an adult physical copy. So hopefully we're going to get it soon. It's kind of like right at the top of my list of like books I want to buy as soon as I start buying books again. Like I want to really buy these books just so I can have it on me. Next we got Fevered Star by Rebecca Roanhorse, and this is the sequel to Black Sun that came out last year, might have been 2 years ago. I feel like it was 2 years ago. It's a fantasy book, adult fantasy book set in the pre-Columbian Americas, or like inspired by that setting. And I really love Black Sun. Started reading Fevered Sun, and I've been enjoying Fevered Stars so far. I put it down because I just haven't been in the mood to read, but I was also thinking of like trying to get a physical copy of this book as well, or not a physical copy, just a read it as an ebook. I think I've been listening to it on Scribd, but I feel like I really want the ebook as well. So we'll see how that goes. Another book that I'm listening to on Scribd is Blood Scion by Deborah Falaye, and this is a YA fantasy, and I think it's kind of exploring the issue of child soldiers and just children in war. Yeah, I've been listening to this on Scribd, and it's fine at the moment. It's pretty serviceable as a YA fantasy. I put it down because while it was interesting, it wasn't engaging me fully. Oh no, it just wasn't like, it wasn't reaching out and grabbing me. I just feel like I need to prioritize other stories that like are grabbing me essentially and are like really compelling, and then I'll get back to the it's interesting, let me see how it goes stories. So this book kind of falls into that latter category, so I'll probably get back to it maybe at the end of summer. The Death of Vivek Oji by Akoke Emeze is also a book that I'm in the middle of. Again, audiobook on Scribd, and so good. It was really, really good, but my attention was like all around the place, and like with other different tasks I had to do, another book. So I really want to go back and like start the book again and then read the whole way through, because people say that this book is like Akoke Emeze's best book that they have written. I still don't know what this book is about entirely, except for the fact that we're focusing on this death and the impact of this death and how people viewed this character and their different perspectives. A Million Quiet Revolutions by a author. I just didn't even put like the author's names in most of this list. Robin Gao. So this is a book about two trans teenagers. So one of the teenage boys finds out that there were like trans revolutionary soldiers, so they're talking about that and like exploring that, while the other like teenager is kind of dealing with like his family being unaccepting of like his identity and just dealing with a whole like other kind of family issues going on. So why did I put this book down? It just wasn't, I don't want to say interesting. Interest is not the word. It just wasn't engaging me. It wasn't compelling me. I would say I'm maybe like a third of the way through, and I want to get to like 2/3. I feel like I want to give it another third, and then if it's still the kind of same feelings I'm getting while reading this book, then I'll just like put it down and like DNF it officially. But I do want to give this book a try. So yeah, I'm going to give it another third. If It Makes You Happy by Claire Can is another book that I'm in the middle of, and this is a YA contemporary romance novel centering around an ace, a black ace teenager, and she's kind of moved to her grandma's like cafe for the summer. She helps her with her grandma's cafe in the summer, and she is crowned like the it's not even a village, like the town's like summer queen or something of that nature. And she doesn't really like that spotlight, but she's going about it, and obviously there's going to be conundrums, issues, romance, drama, and all that stuff. I was really enjoying this book actually. It has a really nice voice. I'm liking the aesthetics. It just seems very cute, you know what I mean, like cute summer read. But I want to give time to it actually. It's not that I'm not in the mood for it. I want to give time to it. I think I'm going to really enjoy it. I don't think it's going to be like wow amazing, but I think it's just going to be a nice solid read, you know. So I want to give it the time of day. I'm trying not to rush reading books at the moment. I want to like really give myself the time and the energy to read a book in its whole kind of story and to fully engage with it. I feel like sometimes like when it comes to booktube and just like online reading and stuff like that, it feels like you have to just be reading the next book, like you always need to be reading, when really like you need to give yourself time and you need to give yourself the space to absorb the book and the characters and the voice. The next book I want to talk about is The Stars Were Burning Brightly by Danielle Joando, and this is a YA contemporary novel which deals with suicide and the impacts of suicide. This is a book that I've started twice now, or maybe even 3 times. Like, I've started it quite a bit, but again, I just want to give the time to it. So I am enjoying it. Like, it's surprising. I'm really liking the voice. I'm really liking the YA voice that Joando is writing with. Like, it feels very apt. I want to get back to Amber Stars with Ben and Briley, but also want to read her new release that came out earlier this year, When Our World Collided, which has the most stunning cover ever. I just really love the cover. So I don't know if like I'm going to go back to Amber Stars with Ben and Briley before When We Collided. Like, it just depends on how I'm feeling or what like story is I'm in the mood for the most. Witchlings by Clarabelle A. Ortega is a book that I've talked about recently on my channel. It's middle grade fantasy and I really enjoy it. It's just so magical girl-esque. If you know, you know. And we are following like these 3 witches who needed to join a clan, but things go awry with their like ceremony. So if they still want to be witches, they need to take on an impossible task. I'm like really right towards the end of this book, so I'm going to be finishing it really soon. And the vibes are just immaculate. Like, this is a book I would have loved to pick up when I was younger. It's just so whimsical, and I just love how like effortlessly fantastical things are, and you know, things aren't really explained, but you're like, this is just the world that we're in, and I really just enjoy that. Then the last book I'm going to talk about in this video is not really the last book on this list that I have, but I'm absolutely boiling. Like, the UK is boiling me, so just I might have to talk about the rest of the books in a different video. The last book I'm going to talk about in this video is The Lady of the Lion by Amna Kareshi, I believe, and this is a book that retells the story of the lady or the tiger, but it's Pakistani inspired fantasy setting, and we're going to have a lot of court intrigue, drama, forbidden romances and stuff like that. I started to read this book maybe, I think it was towards the end of May or early June. Interesting things are happening in the novel, just none of them are wow. None of them are wow. They're just, oh. Do you know what I mean? There's a difference between wow and oh. Those are the books I want to talk about in today's video because I'm absolutely melting and I need to like get some ice cream like after this video ends. So please let me know down below what books you are currently in the middle of. If there are any books in this video that I've mentioned that you're like, oh my god, pick this up like immediately, like don't waste 2 seconds, like you need to finish this book, please let me know. That's it guys. Please remember to like this video, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Twitter, TikTok and Instagram. But I'll see you guys soon in another video soon. Bye.